An anthology of readings of Almighty God's words. When falling leaves return to their roots, you will regret all the evil you have done. You all have seen with your own eyes the work I have done amongst you. You yourselves have listened to the words I have spoken, and you have all known my attitude toward you. So you should know why I am doing this work in you. I tell you in all honesty, you are nothing but tools for my work of conquest in the last days, the implements for expanding my work among the Gentile nations. I speak through your unrighteousness, filthiness, resistance, and rebelliousness in order to better expand my work and spread my name among the Gentile nations. That is, to spread it among any of the nations outside of Israel. This is so that my name, my deeds, and my voice may be disseminated throughout the Gentile nations. And thus all of those nations who are not of Israel may be conquered by me and may worship me, becoming my holy lands outside of the lands of Israel and Egypt. Expanding my work is actually expanding my work of conquest and expanding my holy land. It is the expansion of my foothold on the earth. You should be clear that you are merely the created beings among the Gentile nations that I conquer. Originally, you had neither status nor any value for utilization, and were no use at all. It is only because I uplifted the maggots from the dung heap to be specimens of my conquering of the whole land, to be the only reference materials for my conquering of the whole land, that you have been fortunate enough to come in contact with me, and to assemble with me now. It is because of your low status that I have selected you to be the specimens and models of my work of conquest. It is only for this reason that I work and speak among you, and that I live and sojourn with you. You should know that it is only because of my management and due to my extreme abhorrence of the maggots in the dung heap that I am speaking amongst you. It has reached the point that I am furious. My working amongst you is not at all the same as Jehovah's working in Israel, and in particular, it is not the same as the work Jesus did in Judea. It is with great tolerance that I speak and work, and it is with anger as well as judgment that I conquer these degenerates. It is nothing like Jehovah leading his people in Israel. His work in Israel was to bestow food and living water, and he was full of compassion and love for his people while providing for them. Today's work is done among a cursed nation of people who are not chosen. There is no abundant food, nor is there the thirst-quenching nourishment of living water, and much less is there a supply of ample material goods. There is only a supply of ample judgment, curse, and chastisement. These maggots living in the dung heap are absolutely unworthy of gaining the mountains full of cattle and sheep, the great wealth, and the most beautiful children in all the land, such as I bestowed upon Israel. Contemporary Israel offers upon the altar the cattle and sheep and gold and silver items with which I nourish its people, surpassing the 1/10 required by Jehovah under the law. And so I have given them even more, more than 100 times that was to be gained by Israel under the law. That with which I nourish Israel surpasses all that Abraham gained, and all that Isaac gained. I will make the family of Israel fruitful and multiply, and I will make my people of Israel spread throughout the earth. Those I bless and care for are still the chosen people of Israel. That is, the people who dedicate everything to me, and who have gained everything from me. It is because they keep me in mind that they sacrifice their newborn calves and lambs on my holy altar and offer up everything they have before me, even to the point of offering up their newborn first sons in anticipation of my return. And what about you? You arouse my anger, make demands of me, and steal the sacrifices of those who offer things up to me. And you do not know that you are offending me. Thus, all you gain is weeping and punishment in darkness. You have provoked my anger many times, and I have rained down my burning fires to the point that quite a few people have met with a tragic end, and happy homes have become desolate tombs. All I have for these maggots is unending anger, and I have no intention of blessing them. It is only for the sake of my work that I have made an exception and uplifted you, and endured great humiliation and worked amongst you. If not for the will of my Father, how could I live in the same house with the maggots rolling around in the dung heap? I feel extreme loathing for all of your actions and words. And anyhow, because I have some interest in your filthiness and rebelliousness, this has become a great collection of my words. Otherwise, I absolutely would not have remained among you for so long. Therefore, you should know that my attitude toward you is merely one of sympathy and pity. I do not have even a drop of love for you. What I have for you is mere tolerance, because I only do this for the sake of my work. And you have seen my deeds only because I have selected filthiness and rebelliousness as raw materials. Otherwise, I absolutely would not reveal my deeds to these maggots. I work in you only with reluctance, not at all like the readiness and willingness with which I did my work in Israel. I am bearing my anger while forcing myself to speak among you. If not for my greater work, how could I tolerate the continued sight of such maggots? If not for the sake of my name, I would long ago have ascended to the highest heights and completely incinerated these maggots along with their dung heap. If not for the sake of my glory, how could I allow these evil demons to openly resist me with their heads wagging before my eyes? If not to have my work carried out smoothly, without the slightest obstruction, how could I allow these maggot-like people to wantonly abuse me? If 100 people in a village in Israel rose up to resist me like this, even if they made sacrifices to me, I would still obliterate and cast them down into cracks in the ground, so as to prevent people in other cities from rebelling ever again. I am an all-consuming fire, and I do not tolerate offense. Because humans were all created by me, whatever I say and do, they must obey, and they may not rebel. People do not have the right to meddle in my work, and much less are they qualified to analyze what is right or wrong in my work and in my words. I am the Lord of creation, and the created beings should achieve everything that I require with a heart of reverence for me. They should not try to reason with me, and they especially should not resist. With my authority I govern my people, and all those who are part of my creation should submit to my authority. Though today you are bold and presumptuous before me, though you disobey the words with which I teach you and know no fear, I only meet your rebelliousness with tolerance. I will not lose my temper and impact my work because tiny, insignificant maggots have stirred up the dirt in the dung heap. I tolerate the ongoing existence of everything that I loathe and all the things that I abhor for the sake of my Father's will. And I will do so until my utterances are complete, until my very last moment. Do not worry. I cannot sink to the same level as a nameless maggot, and I will not compare my degree of skill with you. I loathe you, but I am able to endure. You disobey me, but you cannot escape the day when I will chastise you, which was promised to me by my Father. Can a created maggot compare to the Lord of creation? In autumn, falling leaves return to their roots. You will return to the home of your father, and I will return to my Father's side. I will be accompanied by his tender affection, and you will be followed by the trampling of your father. I will have the glory of my Father, and you will have the shame of yours. I will use the chastisement that I have long held back to accompany you, and you will meet my chastisement with your rancid flesh that has been corrupt for tens of thousands of years. I will have concluded my work of words in you, accompanied with tolerance, and you will begin to fulfill the role of suffering disaster from my words. I will greatly rejoice and work in Israel. You will weep and gnash your teeth, existing and dying in the mud. I will regain my original form and no longer remain in the filth with you, while you will regain your original ugliness and continue to burrow around in the dung heap. When my work and words are done, it will be a day of joy for me. When your resistance and rebelliousness are done, it will be a day of weeping for you. I will not sympathize with you, and you will never see me again. I will no longer engage in dialogue with you, and you will never encounter me again. I will hate your rebelliousness, and you will miss my loveliness. I will strike you, and you will pine for me. I will gladly depart from you, and you will be aware of your debt to me. I will never see you again, but you will always hope for me. I will hate you because you currently resist me, and you will miss me because I currently chastise you. I will be unwilling to live alongside you, but you will bitterly yearn for it and weep into eternity, for you will regret all that you have done to me. You will feel remorse for your rebelliousness and resistance. You will even lay face down on the ground with regret and fall down before me and swear to never disobey me again. In your heart, however, you will only love me. Yet you will never be able to hear my voice. I will make you ashamed of yourself. Now I am looking at your indulgent flesh that would wheedle me, and I only have a small warning for you. though I will not serve you with chastisement. You should know what role you play in my work, and then I will be satisfied. In matters beyond this, if you resist me or spend my money, or eat the sacrifices for me, Jehovah, or if you maggots bite each other, or if you dog-like creatures have conflicts or violate one another, I am not concerned with any of that. You need only know what sort of things you are, and I will be satisfied. Aside from all of this, if you wish to draw weapons on each other, or battle each other with words, that is fine. I have no desire to meddle in such things, and am not the least bit involved in human matters. It is not that I do not care about conflicts between you. It is that I am not one of you, and therefore do not participate in matters that lie between you. I myself am not a created being, and am not of the world. So I loathe the bustling life of people and the messy, improper relationships between them. I particularly loathe the clamorous crowds. However, I have a profound knowledge of the impurities in the hearts of each created being. And before I created you, I already knew of the unrighteousness that existed deep in the human heart. And I knew all the deception and crookedness in the human heart. Therefore, even though there are no traces at all when people do unrighteous things, I still know that the unrighteousness harbored within your hearts surpasses the richness of all things that I created. Every one of you has risen to the pinnacle of the multitudes. You have ascended to be the ancestors of the masses. You are extremely arbitrary, and you run amok among all of the maggots, seeking a place of ease and attempting to devour the maggots that are smaller than you. You are malicious and sinister in your hearts, surpassing even the ghosts that have sunk to the bottom of the sea. You reside in the bottom of the dung, disturbing the maggots from top to bottom until they have no peace, fighting each other for a while and then calming down. You do not know your place, yet still you battle with each other in the dung. What can you gain from such struggle? If you truly had reverence for me in your hearts, how could you fight with each other behind my back? No matter how high your status, are you not still a stinking little worm in the dung? Will you be able to sprout wings and become a dove in the sky? You stinking little worms steal offerings from the altar of me, Jehovah. In doing so, can you rescue your ruined, failed reputation and become the chosen people of Israel? You are shameless wretches. Those sacrifices on the altar were offered up to me by people as an expression of benevolent feelings from those who revere me. They are for my control and for my use. So how can you possibly rob me of the little turtle doves people have given me? Do you not fear becoming a Judas? Are you not afraid that your land might become a field of blood? You shameless thing! Do you think that the turtle doves offered up by people are to nourish the belly of you, maggot? What I have given you is what I am content and willing to give you. What I have not given you is at my disposal. You may not simply steal my offerings. The one who works is me, Jehovah, the Lord of creation, and people offer sacrifices because of me. Do you think this is recompense for all the running about you do? You really are shameless. Who do you run about for? Is it not for yourself? Why do you steal my sacrifices? Why do you steal money from my money bag? Are you not the son of Judas Iscariot? The sacrifices to me, Jehovah, are to be enjoyed by priests. Are you a priest? You dare to smugly eat my sacrifices and even lay them out on the table. You are worth nothing. You worthless wretch. My fire, the fire of Jehovah, will incinerate you.